the United States is going to come roaring out of the COVID pandemic. The workers have become so much more efficient. Like fewer workers are getting more done. People are increasingly working from home, so they're saving an hour or two on commute. But all sorts of technological changes that people were lagging on, they've now implemented thanks to COVID. So now instead of going to school for parent-teacher night, people will Zoom with their kids' teachers. Yeshivas, instead of holding meetings for parents at night, will just do it over Zoom. I think there's so many innovations and advancements that are going to have a very positive effect on particularly the United States, but other first world industrialized nations, and the gap between the industrialized nations and the rich and the poor will probably widen as a result of the pandemic.
It's interesting to see, I suppose, what would become of that, because the gap has been widening for some time as it is, and if it grew wider, I think the amount of socio-political strife which could result, that could hardly be placed into words.
Lose income during the COVID pandemic in the United States because these people, by and large, can work from home. Most people who I know well were able to work from home. And so most people I know well, the pandemic was not something that was particularly onerous for them. But people who are earning less than $20 an hour, they got slaughtered by the pandemic because most of their jobs either shut down or they were forced to perform jobs that were incredibly risky. Now, people who didn't study in school, who didn't develop the discipline to have job skills that would enable a prosperous life, they're going to be much more disadvantaged by any kind of crisis than people with assets. And the most important asset that any one of us can have is friends, family, and community. Like that's more important than money in the bank. The number one thing you can do to survive an earthquake is to know your neighbors and to know people around you who you can make common cause with to survive a crisis. So people who are isolated, people who lacked vital connections, people who are on the brink in their mental health or their financial health, they were much more likely to be devastated by the pandemic.